What if I told you that some of the most revolutionary inventions in human history aren't in history books? They're not in museums. They're buried, locked away, or labeled impossible by the very authorities tasked with progress. We're not talking about science fiction. We're talking about real devices with real patents that promise to change everything, and then, suddenly, vanished. This is the story of the inventions they didn't want you to know about. Let's be clear from the start. We're not diving into conspiracy theories about alien energy or time machines. We're examining documented cases, patents that exist, trials that were held, and the powerful combination of economic interest, geopolitical fear, and simple human inertia that can stop a world-changing idea in its tracks. The ban isn't always a dramatic raid and a secrecy order. Sometimes it's a death by 1,000 cuts, defunding, ridicule, patent obstruction, and the overwhelming pressure of the status quo. Our first stop is an invention so potent, it threatens the entire global energy economy. And it was on the cover of Popular Mechanics. The water-powered car, Stanley Meyer's water fuel cell. In the 1990s, an American inventor named Stanley Meyer demonstrated a dune buggy that he claimed ran on water, not hydrogen extracted with massive energy input, but a process he called electrolytic resonance. He said his cell could split water into hydrogen and oxygen using far less energy than conventional methods. The claim? A car could run on water with only a small electrical input from the battery to start the process. The scientific community largely dismissed him, calling it a violation of thermodynamics. But Meyer secured investors. He filed patents. He was even sued by disgruntled backers. And then, in 1998, after a meeting with potential Belgian investors, he collapsed and died outside a restaurant. The coroner said it was a brain aneurysm. His supporters cried foul, claiming he was poisoned to suppress the technology. So was it banned? Not officially. But here's the reality. Meyer's technology was never independently verified under controlled conditions. His patents were scrutinized and found lacking in detail. The true suppression came from the laws of physics themselves, according to experts. Yet, the enduring legend persists because the idea, freedom from oil, is so powerful. It highlights a key theme. When an invention challenges trillion-dollar industries, it faces a mountain of skepticism that is almost impossible to overcome, regardless of its merit. Our next invention moves from the roads to the home, to a source of energy so clean and abundant. It's been called the Holy Grail of physics. And in 1989, two scientists claimed they had found it. Cold fusion, the fever dream that refuses to die. In March 1989, electrochemists Martin Fleischmann and Stanley Pons held a press conference that sent shockwaves through the world. They claimed to have achieved nuclear fusion, the process that powers the sun, in a simple tabletop experiment at room temperature. The implications were staggering. Nearly limitless, cheap, clean energy. The scientific world went into a frenzy. Labs across the globe tried to replicate it. Most failed. The subsequent backlash was brutal. Fleischmann and Pons were accused of incompetence, fraud, and pathological science. Their reputations were destroyed. Cold fusion became the ultimate scientific heresy. Funding dried up. Careers were threatened. It was effectively blacklisted from mainstream journals. But here's the twist the mainstream narrative often misses. The research didn't die. It went underground, rebranded as low-energy nuclear reactions, or LENR. For over 30 years, a small, dedicated group of scientists worldwide has continued the work. They've published thousands of papers, documented excess heat, and reported nuclear byproducts they can't explain with conventional chemistry. The U.S. Navy's Spore Center even reported positive results in replicated experiments. Was it banned? Not by a government decree. It was suppressed by consensus, by a scientific establishment that protects its paradigms with ferocity. The story of cold fusion is less about a villainous government and more about the terrifying power of groupthink and the peril of announcing a world-changing discovery before you have irrefutable, repeatable proof. Now, let's talk about an invention that touches the most sensitive area of all, our health. What if a device could treat cancer without drugs, surgery, or radiation? That's exactly what one inventor claimed for decades. The Rife machine, a cure in a frequency? In the 1930s, Royal Raymond Rife, a brilliant and eccentric scientist, built a powerful optical microscope he claimed could see live viruses. He then developed a device he called the beam ray. Rife's theory was simple. Every pathogen has a specific mortal oscillatory rate, or resonance frequency. Broadcast that frequency, and you could shatter the microbe like a wine glass shatters to a high note. He reported spectacular successes in curing terminal cancers and diseases in both animals, and a limited human clinical trial in 1934. Then, his world collapsed. His lab was mysteriously destroyed by fire. His key supporter died suddenly. A medical board discredited his work. He was sued, harassed, and ultimately died in obscurity. His technology was dismissed as quackery. Modern analysis suggests Rife was likely observing artifacts, not live viruses, with his microscope. His frequency theory oversimplifies a vastly complex biological system. Yet, the legacy is complex. The core idea, using specific electromagnetic frequencies to disrupt pathogens or cancer cells, is not pure fantasy. Today, research into tumor-treating fields uses low-intensity electric fields to disrupt cancer cell division and is an FDA-approved therapy for certain brain cancers. It's a sophisticated, targeted cousin of Rife's broad idea. The suppression of Rife wasn't just about a cure for cancer. It was a combination of his own flawed methodology, the aggressive protection of the emerging medical-industrial complex in the mid-20th century, and the very human desire for a simple, miracle cure. Finally, let's examine a patent so strange, so straight out of science fiction, that the U.S. Navy itself owns it. The UFO patents, Navy's craft for a new reality. Between 2016 and 2018, the U.S. Naval Air Systems Command filed and was granted patents for astonishing aerospace technologies. A hybrid aerospace underwater craft that can move with equal ease in air, water, and space. A high-frequency gravitational wave generator. A plasma compression fusion device. The diagrams look like something from a movie. The inventor listed on many is Dr. Salvatore Pais. The patents describe physics that many mainstream scientists argue is impossible, like room temperature superconductors and inertia-canceling drives. So why were they granted? Speculation is rampant. Were they based on real breakthroughs from classified black projects? Are they disinformation to confuse adversaries? Or are they simply a strategic move to patent block other nations, regardless of feasibility? This isn't a banned invention. It's the opposite, a government-sanctioned one. But it represents the modern form of secrecy. It's not about hiding the invention in a vault. It's about controlling the narrative through the patent system itself, creating a cloud of uncertainty. Is this the blueprint for the next state Route 71 Blackbird? Or just speculative paper patents? We, the public, have no way of knowing. The barrier isn't a lock and key, but our own lack of access to the truth behind the filing. The real conspiracy. So what's the common thread here? Is there a smoky room where shadowy figures decide which inventions live and die? The truth is both more mundane and more profound. True technological suppression is rarely a dramatic ban. It's a system. It's the inertia of trillion-dollar industries that have everything to lose. It's the rigid gatekeeping of scientific institutions terrified of being wrong. It's the patent office that can bury an application in endless paperwork. It's the court of public opinion, quick to ridicule what it doesn't understand. And sometimes, tragically, it's the inventor's own hubris, flawed methods, or outright fraud. The real story isn't about perfect, ready-to-go inventions being stolen and hidden. It's about fragile ideas, often on the edge of viability, being crushed by the weight of the world as it is. These stories serve as a warning, a reminder that progress is not a straight line. It's a battle between the established order and the radical idea that seeks to overthrow it. They also serve as a beacon. For every Stanley Meyer, there's a team of L&R researchers quietly persevering. For every Rife machine sold in the shadows, there's legitimate research into bioelectric medicine. The line between suppressed genius and debunked pseudoscience is often razor-thin and can only be judged with time, evidence, and an open, but critically thinking mind. This is why curiosity is a revolutionary act. Why asking questions is dangerous to those in power. The search for these hidden truths, the dissection of these legendary stories, is how we separate hope from hype and genius from delusion. If you want to go deeper down these rabbit holes, to explore the suppressed histories, the fringe science, and the technologies at the edge of our understanding, then you need to be part of a community that isn't afraid to look. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell